Good.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Empowerment Network. And my name is Comfort, all the way from the United Kingdom. I'm very happy to have my sister Lily Jackson here again from the United States of America. And we are discussing a very, very exciting topic. Hoping that everyone joins in. And thank you, whoever is joining. I kindly share because we struggled earlier on and had to change the link. So, Lily, welcome and thank you for joining again.
Thank you, Sister Comfort. Yes, we did have a little trouble there, technology, but we thank God we are here and we are still excited to share. And thanks to our audience. Good to be here with you.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, sis. So, our topic for today says, hold your pen because it is your story. Lily and myself are very, very excited, and we want everybody to actively participate in this chat. So, Lily, I give you the microphone. Just go ahead. Let us know what you have in mind.
Okay, so thank you, Sister Comfort. So this topic came as a result of what our CEO put in the background, in the back office, I mean. And there was a statement there, and it said, when writing the story of your life, do not let anybody else hold your pen. So it came from that where we are saying hold your pen. And this originally came from Harley Davidson that originally wrote this. And it's so interesting, Sister Comfort, because December 10th, I'd actually just put this very same saying in on my Facebook page, and it's always amazing how on Passive Family, like we are really together, like we are kindred, thinking the same way. And I think because of the experience we've had in the past, some 6 years for me, maybe 2 and some months, years. So it's very exciting. And I just want to say that this topic is so important. And the fact that Mr. or Brother Ash put it in the background, it means he knows that there is a story being written here on Passive. We are writing a story. Some have been writing it for 6 years. For whatever time that you've been here, it means you're writing a story. If someone asks you today how you joined and what has happened so far, your story is either going to be interesting, it's going to be, oh, I gave up. So everyone will have a different story they're telling here. And it's so important because what I believe our CEO is also trying to say here is you are responsible for your actions. And actually, on I believe October 6th, he put that in the back office where he was saying, I am responsible for my actions and I can care less about other people's words. So, meaning you're the pilot and the captain of your life. Okay. So, I just want to say, Sister Comfort, that I was thinking as I thought about this topic, it took me back to a time that I had a story to write. And my parents sent me to a boarding school, and I was in uni at this time. My parents had been posted to the UK to work there, and I had to remain back home because of the differences in the educational system. So I'm writing my story, and I go to this uni, and I'm a business student. Now, talking about stories, oh, we're gonna tell our stories. And in this uni was on my third year and about to finish third year and start fourth year. And here I am holding my pen, writing my business administration story and part of the story of what I would do after. And one day we wake up and the student head had called a meeting, and instead of going to class, students were to go to the field. In other words, go on a strike, and came out of the dormitory, and there were students, and everyone's like, no, we are not going to class today. And I didn't know why, honestly. But apparently later I found out that it was because they didn't like the food. It was a boarding school, and they didn't like the meals that were being served there. Now, to be honest, I don't know if any of them is listening. Personally, I love those meals. But because somebody who was head of the students had said, well, we are not going, guess what we did? We just went to the field and sat down and we paid attention to what they were saying. So I thought, well, maybe I don't have to have math class today. And I thought it was going to end there. So even though it was against my story and my pen and what I believed was right, I played along with what they were saying. And I'm going to tell you, the principal came there, the school principal, and he told us, we are giving you 24 hours to go sign your names if you're going to go back to class. And in 24 hours, if you don't go back and sign up to return to classes as normal, as usual, we are going to send you home. Now, remember, my parents are in UK. I'm back in Kenya. And I thought, well, it's not going to happen. And then now listen, some students started a rumor. Okay, this was not fact. It was a rumor that there would be a paper that would go secretly at night and people would be able to sign that paper because no one wanted to look like they're being a traitor. So somebody just started that story. So I thought, well, I'm just going to sneak at night and I'm going to sign. Needless to say, that paper never came. And the next day, the principal said, we are bringing security. And if your names are not on this list, if we don't call your name, you're being sent home. I can tell you it did not end well. Now, some of the people who were laughing, cheerleading this group were crying. Why? Because now when we go home, everyone is alone and responsible for the story they wrote that day. And I can tell you, when you're alone, it sinks in. And you're going to say, I listened to somebody, I changed my story, but now I'm here alone. My dad was upset. I ended up going to my uncle. And now the students who didn't sign, which was maybe 3/4, we ended up costing our parents more money because we had to retake that semester. And we were sent home and we came back. Majority came back. Some didn't come back because the parents were so upset. Some didn't have money. And it was a very sad story. So the reason I'm saying that is Brother Ash has given us a business here, and he's telling us, look, you're responsible for your own story. If you go listen to someone else, they give you something else, be sure that when you're alone and these people are not responsible for those results, you are happy with what you get, with how you decide to write that story. So what I look at that, Sister Comfort.
Oh, wow, indeed. What an interesting story. Thank you so much for sharing. I think we learn a lot through these platforms. And talking about storytelling, I just like the storytelling, you brought forward this idea of fact versus rumor. So if your story is not based on facts, then it's rumor. And the only person who can give out these facts is you because you are the one who lived it, right? So that is what Ash is trying to say, that Lily is putting it here into perspective. So when you were telling this story, my brother Collins came to mind because he likes telling people that, listen, you are not you are not engaged in this movement, in this journey, or maybe you totally saw the opportunity and ignored it, or you signed up but then you say, I can't be bothered and stuff. Everybody will be telling their story, like you rightly say, from wherever you started, but then beginning from 2018, right? So Collins is like, listen, in future your generations will ask, where were you when this was happening? You see, I heard about it, but I couldn't be bothered. Or I signed up and then I was not sure and I dumped the email addresses somewhere and lost it and I don't know what. Listen, that's not a good story. Nobody's listening to that. They're just like, you can be very, really unpopular even in your own family. So we just want to be there, actively be there, tell our story so that whatever we are giving out are facts, because people will tell their story the way they look at you. Like in literature, if you've done literature at some point, you talk about a character, you appreciate a character based on what you see, how you see them, what you hear about them, what they say about themselves and stuff like that. Any other thing, the best thing or the very first quality information you get about this character is what this character says about themselves. Any other thing is based on speculation. It could be perhaps and stuff like that. And when they are telling you stories from that perspective, then there's something wrong. or you cannot tell your story because you did not live it. You actually deliberately did not want to live it. So this movement is the way it is. There's a reason why we have to go through this journey. The journey from Egypt to back to the dreamland was meant to be how many days? I think 40 days, but it took how many 400 years or stuff like
Many
that.
years.
Yes, 40 years. Thank you. Excuse me. So that's not what we want to do, because what we're in, when you were talking about listening, you were not part, you did not share the opinion of the others. However, you sat down and listened. Yesterday, we were talking about listening and paying attention, active listening, intentional listening, because that is what is taking us there. When you actively listen to Mr. Ash, when you intentionally listen to him, all of these things, because each time he comes out, he might sound a bit philosophical sometimes, but then he's passing a powerful message. Each time he shows up, you know that he has some particular thing to say. And the good news here is that we are here represented by people from all walks of life. So that there's some people who have more wisdom than the others. And when they hear from Ash, immediately they get it, either because they've been in this or because they can understand it more than others. Then you listen to them, interpret it, make an appreciation of what he says. Then you have good quality information to add up, because you have to write this story till the end. You cannot afford to stop on the way. So it takes a lot. It takes you just have to pay attention. You just have to be in it. You just have to be actively involved. Do it, because last time Martin Degamo said something which I was like, I've never heard this, but this sounds really good. I'm just paraphrasing. I can't say exactly what he said. He says there are so many people, many good people in your life, but you will not know them until you lose the bad ones, right? So if you stop writing your story at some point, how many people have been dropping since 2018? I don't care when you joined, but from where you joined, you started telling the story from that part, from that place, because that is where you started, right? From 2018 till this minute, people have been dropping out and dropping and dropping. That adds to the story. That gives reason why the plot has to twist. There's a twist of plot here and there. Today we're going here, then tomorrow we'll go here and go there, right? It adds up. And then this also helps you now. It says, go and do some research. Find out about this massive giant company. They failed many, many, many times. They had many, 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 many twists. They have had so and so challenges before they got there. There's nobody who does something like what Ash is doing. Just wake up one morning and within the snap of the fingers, a giant company like the OES of Mr. Mufara is standing there and smiling at you. And then you get into the toolbox and start playing around like the baby in the candy shop. No, no, no. It takes beating the body. It takes denying yourself. It takes sacrificing your family and family time. It just takes courage. It takes saying, Lord, send me, and stuff like that. And that is when the story gets interesting. That is when even people who come after us, they will still have respect for what they will meet, because we are just blessed that we are part of this, watching Ash do the groundworks and all of those things, and we kind of walk the journey with him, even though we're just shadowing because we don't know what is deep down. But we have an idea because he gives us a little bit of clue here and there. So this story is worth telling. Hold your pen. If you sit there and somebody's passing down the road. Listen, guys, I'm sorry, Lily, I'll keep you for a minute.
You.
There's some guy who joined this business with us. He abandoned his account. He joined, I think, through my husband. So he sat during the World Cup and saw us being partnership in the sponsor, or partnering with the sponsors and so on. You remember when we sponsored the World Cup? This guy called me and said, listen, I know that On Passive had launched long ago. People have been making money, and you and your husband are eating my money. And I'm sitting here. I've been watching and staying quiet, waiting for you to come and give my money. You're not giving and spending my money. So I had to bring, I'm just like Collins, we're dead. I don't know where to go from here. So my husband was stuck and I had to take the phone. I said, give me that phone. You had to explain and explain why, because they were not there, not actively involved. They don't have a story to tell. They tell their story based on what we in Pidgin we call a hearsay, right? It doesn't work like that. Not here, not in this kind of thing we are doing. So I think I'll let you go, Lily.
No, that is so wonderful, Sister Comfort, and that is true. I've been also for the time I've been in on passive. I've experienced a lot. I mean, we've had to remind people. Now, you talked about the people being on the journey from Egypt, and then the desert, and a lot of things happened there. So we started on passive. Now, first of all, most people didn't understand that on passive was a company in development when we started. That is so important for people to remember. They did not join a company that's already ready to go. It was in development. And you talked about things taking time. You know, someone said no great thing is created suddenly. No great, and great is the key here, thing is created suddenly. And he said, if you ask, not any more than grapes or figs. And he said, if you ask for a fig, I will tell you that you need time for it to blossom and then let it bear fruit and then let it ripen. Now, I'm in the country here, we plant figs, and there is nothing as bad as eating a raw green fig that is not ripe, and nobody wants that. So on passive, it has to take steps, it has to ripen. And a lot of people who have dropped out, like you say, Sister Comfort, is because of adversity. uh, Enemies come, they tell you things now. And that is why when Ash says don't let anyone hold your pen, he knows that there is potential that somebody will come and talk to somebody and take that pen and change that story. And he's saying cling to that pen. So there are many ways that the adversary comes, enemies come. And what I tell people is this: when I was chatting with a friend on this also some time back, and I said, you know, when someone comes and speaks, and this is not just with passive, Sister Comfort, this is in many areas of our lives. Where there's good, there's always a counterfeit, there's always evil. Because when good happens, there's someone who does not want it to happen. And that's usually because of their selfishness. And I said, if for instance, now we agreed with this friend that we are going to turn everything negative that comes, we will find a positive to it. Because we read somewhere that you can be either a positive or negative person, but only one will get you somewhere. So the obvious decision is to be positive. So for me, with on passive, if someone comes and I hear them, oh, you cannot do it, this is too big, I take my pen and I go and I turn that statement. I say Philippians 4:13. Somebody knows what that means. Or if you don't know what Philippians 4:13 says, you say, when someone tells you you cannot, they are showing you their limits, not yours. That is
Right.
what they're doing. And it also says that people who usually say that you cannot do it are the ones who are afraid you will do it. So you tell me that that is what I'm going to write down. I'm going to take my pen and my book and I'm going to turn that around because it's better than thinking negative. If someone says, oh, you hit rock bottom and you're not going anywhere, I don't know if you remember Sister Comfort, Brother Ash put that too also. When they say you hit rock bottom, someone says a ball does not bounce until it hits the bottom. So I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to turn that statement and I'm going to say that. And he also said that rock bottom will teach you lessons the mountaintop cannot teach you. Take it and just change that story. Somebody will go make a content about founders because we believe in a good thing. We are just doing good things and they'll just make their life out of saying negative stuff. And then I take my pen and what do I say? Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. And that is what happens. So there is always, with that, we cannot fail. We have to stay positive. We have to keep it going. And there is nothing anyone for me can say about on passive that I will not get something that I will take my pen and turn it into a positive. It actually makes me happy. And Sister Comfort, I don't know if you know the story of Joseph. Sometimes we actually need enemies and adversity to succeed. And I remember Brother Ash once said that because of the adversity, the enemies, and what happened, we came out better. Joseph ended up being a prince of Egypt, if those who know that story, because of the enemies. So trust me, There is nothing you cannot do when you think positive. When you're in God's will and you're doing the right thing, everything works for good. So I just want to say, let's keep taking our pens and turning the story and making it positive.
That's very very important, and that's powerful, because the idea, we already know that people are trying to tell this story the other way. We have a good number of them out there every day. They're on YouTube and so on. We sit here and say things, they get snippets from what this we say, they go out there and then twist it. Still, it's all about twisting, right? I want to twist it to fit my agenda, to fit what I want to say, and then say it because that's what I want people to hear, right? So you have a choice. The whole thing here is that there is choice involved. If you choose to go the other way around, it's all yours. Go for it. But then don't get knackered, don't get exhausted, and then come back and think that we're going to refresh you. No. Like you say, some of us are winners. We are just interested and concentrated on winning because the winning it's not exchange. You cannot exchange it for anything, right? Because we win. There's no other. There's nothing fighting this. I wish I could say it better. But then those losers, they go out there, they listen to the wrong stuff, and so on and so forth. They come back tomorrow because I've said here so many times, Lily, whether you like it or not. Even the day we are ready, we're already making money. Money is exchanging hands. Money is going to the OES and coming back smoothly and stuff. Those people will still be there criticizing you, not knowing that we are already in business, right? So you choose. So when you talk about positive mindset, positive energy, and stuff like that, I, I don't know the exact statement, but the expression, but there's something like you are the result of what you think. So if you think negative, it happens negative. If you stand in front of the mirror and see an old ugly lady, then you're ugly. If you see a beautiful lady who's fearfully and wonderfully made, that's what you are seeing. So that what you tell yourself all the time and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, that's what you live with, and that's what you share with people. So people get toxic because they nurture it and nurse it within, and then when it sprouts and grows up and then bears fruit, that's what you distribute around. But then everything is about choice. So let's choose wisely. Let's choose wisely. You don't let anybody tell your story. This is, we are in the best place so far because the journey itself, Lily, we are kind of assuring and reassuring ourselves. I'm very sure that if I pop into the USA today, I call Lily, and she cannot say no. I'm not bringing you home because you're a total stranger. Because I'm not a total stranger to you anymore. You definitely bring me. Even you will say, listen, you sleep on the couch or you sleep on the carpet or something like that. But then that's all I can offer you. You will not say no because we've bonded together and built trust and all of those things. So when you are not steady, you are not consistent because you want to spread your legs all over the place, you end up writing a terribly bad story. And people will read it really bad. They're just like, oh my God. So we just want to be careful what we are doing here. That last week, Anita came here. She just said, "Listen." She was encouraging that people should adopt the mindset of success and growth. So while we are waiting for Ash, there's a lot of free, useful information out there. Just learn a new skill for free. What is your method, your preferred method of learning? Is it listening? There are audios, there are podcasts. Is it watching audiovisual? YouTube is there, millions and millions of videos. Do you just want to silently sit there and read? There are free websites, free where you can learn everything for free, or where you pay very little, very insignificant amount of money and learn a new exciting skill. So instead of you going out there, because when you learn these skills, what happens? It adds up to your story. It forms a chapter in your book. Say, listen, now I know how to prompt on Chat GPT and get me what I want. Because while waiting for Ash, knowing that Ash will bring things that are superior to this, I decided to lay the foundation for myself. I can use Canva, I can use StreamYard, I can use stuff like that. So the moment the OES is open, I'll only upgrade to where it takes us to. I'll not be starting from the base, from the ground and stuff like that. So that's a whole chapter in your book, and it's relevant. There's so much we can do to just keep the story going on and on and on until we put the final story, full stop for book one. Because the moment we're out there, that's the beginning of another new story. That's why sometimes I say, like, listen, we might think that this whole thing began in 2018, but it is actually, this journey is yet to begin. Because the moment we are ready, most of the time we shall be speaking from the fields, we're speaking from the ground, because we're going north, south, west, and east to change lives, to make people happy, and also make ourselves happy. What about that?
Yeah, that is so true, Sister Comfort. And you did mention something towards we are pretty much what our thoughts are. And then somebody else said, if you think you can do it, you're right. If you think you can't do it, you're right. So really what you think, it is what it is. Okay. Um, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he, which is your mind. We think with our minds. We know that. So I just want to say that is powerful, because if you are what you think and your mind is in your head, nobody else has that mind. It means you can control what happens, and that's what you will be. And that's what our CEO was saying. And I like, Sister Comfort, how you say how we can be reading a lot. There's a lot of things to catch up. Just listening to Mr. Ash's videos alone, there is a wealth of them. I think you do, and Sister Julie, I think, shares some, just clips here and there, shortened clips of some of the things Brother Asha said. And I was listening to one of them where I ended up saving that clip on my WhatsApp, and I labeled it "not much." And the reason I put it "not much" is because there's a saying by Jim Rohn that says that if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you will fall in another person's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. And so when I listen to Brother Ash and he keeps saying these scenarios, he says, if someone comes with a new subscription today, guess what that does to your life? Not much. You change subscription, Netflix, somebody comes with a new product, he says, how does that benefit your life? Not much, because you're the used. So Google comes with a new thing, a new phone comes, not much that is happening to change your life. So if you want to fall in someone else's life plan, you have to consider, what do they really have for me? And he went on to say in that message that until On Passive came, that has been the norm. But he calls people to take action, because you can know what you want to do well, you want to help people, but you have to understand how the system works. What are the industry norms? The norms in the industry, which I think the reason I believe On Passive is actually redefining those industry norms. It's different. It's reaching people who had no chance before, who could not be reached, who could not succeed. So it's redefining that. It's basically disrupting how things run for those who can afford it. So now we have a company that's saying, even those who cannot afford, we are going to make it affordable, attracting new markets there. So that is something he's saying. Now we are changing the way the industry works, and we want you to be part of this. But he is taking the, per se, donkey to the river, and he's saying, but I can't make you drink. I mean, he's literally put the river and we are going, but you have to drink. And he's saying you have to take action. You have to decide to hold your own pen. You have to decide that this is what you want, that you have seen it, and not let someone else distract you from something so beautiful. And then you end up losing out, because that will change your story. I don't know how you see that, Sister Comfort.
Exactly, of course. I was just thinking about, let's read what my sister Amina says, because she has a story to tell as well. She says, the story I'm going to tell, to write about On Passive and my journey, is titled The Mother Who Dreamed Her Dream, and people wrote the madness of waiting for her dream. right? That was madness indeed. I know what she's talking about because Amina has a whole story to tell here, but other people call it madness. That is the title of the book they're writing about her. Everything in that book is wrong because it's based on rumors, like you said earlier on, Lily. That is simply what it's all about. So we just want to hold on to our pen because this story only us can write. You know, when you think about, I hope that I connect this well. When you think about this guy, all right, I've forgotten his name, but let me try to say it. He says, if you cannot find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Warren Buffett, right? That
Yeah.
sounds like just a topic. That is topic that he could have written a whole story of it, but there's no story to read because that's so true. It's doable. You can make money while you sleep. But he did not empower me. He did not show me how to do it. I've not seen anybody, I may be wrong. I'm not saying that there are no people that have been nurtured or mentored and raised by him into success. But I don't know. I can't see it anywhere, right? I can't, it's not all over the place, but that's a powerful statement. So that's just a topic for a book or a title of a book or topic for discussion because he said it, yes. But then I should be waiting like, so my friend, how, what do I do? Because he is successful, you know, he is successful, but he kept it to himself. But then not until Mr. Mufarak came, say, yes, what this bro is saying is true, it's doable. And this is how they do it. You do it for everybody and anybody. That's why my auntie down the village, I'll never stop talking about her, who weaves baskets. I've not seen that anywhere on planet Earth. She's the only one I'm sure who does those baskets. She has a place here. She knows how to speak only my language. She has a place here in the ecosystem of Mr. Mufara. That's where you begin to say, all right, the book title came from somebody, but somebody is bringing the story for us to write it. So, guys, take your pen back, shut your ears, go for a run or something, and just breathe out the other ones, any other rumors and stuff you've taken in, and let's focus because the big picture is big, and the light beyond the tunnel is bright enough. It's so bright that it will blind some people's eyes. It's just that some of us will not go blind because we already know what it is, and we're very ready for it, Lily. So it's just a wonderful opportunity. Let's just stay focused. This whole thing is here to stay. That's why Mr. Mufare, the one of the recent statements he made was like, you are part of something that will make you proud, right? It will make you proud. And that thing that will make you proud, when you want to write the story, you write it with a good pen and with a beautiful handwriting. And everybody in the world will read it and say, oh, wow. So, guys, I think we can go on and on and on, but I'll not keep my sister here forever so that she comes again. So, Lily, whatever you have to round up, it's all yours.
Wow, Sister Comfort. What can I say? You know, I was reading a little poem by a guy. His name is John Greenleaf. Now, this story is about, it's a poem actually. Maud Muller, that's the lady he wrote about. So, this lady, it's basically talking about a judge who's rich, and he comes to country and he sees a lady with hair. She's like a country girl, dressed, country. And he's very rich, she's poor. And they kind of have a thing for each other. And he starts to ask her out. I'm paraphrasing, you can read the poem later. And he does not say anything, okay? And then she also is thinking, wow, it would be beautiful to be married to a judge and just live in the city. But he's thinking it would be nice to be here, relaxed in the country, just. And they have this connection. None of them say anything. The judge leaves, marries a rich lady, and this lady stays and marries a poor farmer. And through the times, they regret the opportunity that they had to be together, but they did nothing about it. Okay. And they just gone with their lives. They are there, but their minds are still on that event. And in that poem, there are these words, and it says that for all the sad words of tongue and pen, talking about pen, okay, the saddest are these, it might have been. Now, when the foundership was available, I'm one of those who almost missed it. I know I've shared this before. And that is always going to be part of my story, that I almost missed it. It's by God's grace that I don't have to say the words, it might have been. Those are regretful words. It's very sad because it talks about a time you cannot go back to change things. And in this process, it's a comfort. I tell you, when I finally saw it, I first thanked God that He got me in on the grace period. And what I did, and these are people who are also gonna have their story. I know part of their story, how it's gonna go. I remember about 3 people. One of them didn't have the money. They say they saw it. So what I did is I sent them $100. It was 97. It was about 105 I sent. And he was very appreciative and he became a founder. Okay. And another, I sent the money. They totally ate it, never looked at on passive. That will be part of their story. Another one joined and then they got somewhere and they got hungry, or someone sent them another shiny object. They went back when they heard our CEO say, look, we are not forcing anyone. If you want to take your 97, take it. And guess what he did, Sister Comfort? He went and took his 97 and put it in crypto, lost the whole amount. That is part of their story, and it broke my heart.
Right.
But guess what? Everyone must write their story. And in the
Right.
end, I just want to tell everyone who's listening to us, it's not too late. Now, the foundership, if you sold or whatever you gave in, that's fine. But you are still welcome to come as an affiliate, but your story will have changed drastically, I believe. And we thank God that they still, we are going to launch to the world. Everybody will be helped because it's for everyone. But it does make a difference. A founder's story, I believe, is different from any other story because you have more to tell, you have more conflict. And that's what makes a story interesting because they say that story without conflict is boring. So you being able to tell the challenges you went through makes your story that much more beautiful. So you can come, you're welcome to join us. It's not too late. Keep writing your story. Wherever it is now, you can make it more interesting or you can just make it boring. So your life is your story. Somebody said, write it well, edit often, and make it a story that you will be proud to tell. And thank you.
Yep, that's just powerful. Do you know that even our CEO? I'm ending on this note now. I'm not keeping you any longer. Our CEO has a story to tell, right? Listen, because it all started when you listen that video in 2018, that particular old video that he made without a face on it. I don't know whether it's video or what, but then the energy and then the genuineness in his voice and stuff is still live and active right now. But what he saw, what is going on right now, it was not all these things that he has gone through right here, right? But then there was a vision, there was something he was seeing lying ahead. That thing he saw that he wanted to deliver to you and myself he was not holding it yet in the hands. He had just a blueprint or the vision in his mind. He had the blueprint and said, listen, this is what I am planning to do. You don't have to. But if you believe in this voice, stop by, have a look, and let's walk the journey together. He has a story. I believe that everything that has happened to Ash is on purpose, because without which, who comes through this, who puts this in place in the world, in front of the world, and doesn't have a story to write? Mr. Mufara needs to tell a story, because when we're ready, he will go from media house to media house to media house to media house. Those who think that no story is being written, journalists are writing this story. Because when he comes, they will say this and that happened. Listen, There are moments they will ask him, even if he comes here today, I'll definitely ask him that question to Ash. If you were to start afresh, how different would you have done things? So that he tells the story, right? So these stories, guys, let's tell them. They are sweet, they are interesting, they are powerful. It's just going to move someone, you know. So if you are joining for the first time, we are just getting ready. The moment we are ready and it's open out there, you will definitely know. So keep on keeping on, just keep coming. Let's do this thing together. We really appreciate you for coming and supporting Lily and myself. And of course, Lily, thank you for always answering the call. Thank you, guys. Love you and see you soon. Bye.